Welcome to Sisters in Service podcast. Most of you know me as a strong advocate for women veterans in being recognized not only as veterans, but also as women who are changing the world through our passion of serving, even after service. This podcast is my passion by telling all the stories of military brats, military spouses, active duty, and veterans, not to forget the veteran service organizations that help us along our transition journey. I want to thank you in advance for listening. I hope that you will join me every week. A new podcast and episode comes out every Tuesday, so I hope that you will join and I hope that you enjoy. This podcast is brought to you by Small Space Pilates. Are you ready to get fit and fabulous from the comfort of your own home? Look no further than Small Space Pilates. With live online Pilates and strength training classes, a video library, and a no perfection allowed policy, you can achieve your fitness goals without ever leaving your house. Click on the link for your complimentary week and start your journey to feeling fabulous today. Hi, everybody. Yes, it's me, Kat Corchata of Why Not Wellness, under the Sisters in Service podcast. And I always like to give you no more than 15 minutes of information that maybe you can use in your fitness journey, because I believe everyone has the right to feel good in their body. So you're probably wondering, hey, you did one last week. Why are you doing another one this week? Well, this ties really good into what I'm going to talk about today. Lack of planning on my part. Okay. So lack of planning. I was supposed to have a guest and it just didn't happen, y'all. It just didn't happen because I failed to plan. It's as simple as that. So yes, I'm doing one of these again and I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? I'm okay with it. But when you plan to fail, no, that's wrong. When you I can't even get it out. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I'm sure you all have heard of that before. And I don't plan on failing. I just didn't plan the way I was supposed to. But I had a backup. My father always used to say, have a backup for your backup. So you have a plan A, a backup for that, which is plan B, and a backup for that, which is plan C. So this is my plan B, just saying. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the 3-2-8 method of working out. But before I get to that, I wanted to talk about in episode 122, I talked about 11 is the new 30, 11 minutes to work out. And this is great for people who are new. But just to kind of jog your memory a little bit, if you didn't have a chance to listen, I came across this study, and keep in mind that they were doing this with cardio and high intensity interval workouts. Okay, good study. But I started thinking about, well, what if someone new to fitness just started with 11 minutes? 11 minutes is doable, don't you think? 11 minutes of walking, 11 minutes of stretching, 11 minutes of laying down on your carpet and just breathing. What do you think of that? I like it, actually, and I have put it into play many times when I'm really busy during the day and I have a half an hour and I think I can do 11 minutes of walking. Now, I live in a condo and we have really long hallways, so I will walk up and down the hallways for 11 minutes. Now, my neighbors see me doing this and they kind of look at me like I'm weird, but I really don't care anymore. If they want to ask what I'm doing, then that's fine. But let's talk about diving into the 3-2-8 method of fitness, especially if you've been working out and you're like, oh, do I do 30 minutes of cardio and 20 minutes of weights and 10 minutes of stretching? How do I do this? And so the 3-2-8 method of fitness is a holistic approach that combines strength training, Pilates and or yoga or stretching. And I'm adding that in there, y'all. This is my thing. Okay. Because I love a choice. And daily steps. So the overview is this. It's a comprehensive fitness approach that encompasses 3 elements: strength training, Pilates, and steps. So the strength training is 3 days a week dedicated to strength training. Pilates, 2 days a week of Pilates or yoga and or stretching. That's me. Focusing on core strength, flexibility, and overall body conditioning. And 8,000 steps per day. So do you count your steps every day? No, you don't. I know the answer to that. But do you have a smartwatch or something that does? If you have a job where you are consistently walking, put that puppy on. You know what I want to, I'll tell you this. This is what I do. When you shop at a big box store, how many people shop at a big box store? Soon as I lock the car, my smartwatch is on, counting those steps. Yes, it is. When I walk my dog, I am counting those steps. Yes. Okay. It all adds up, all of it. So 8,000 steps per day. So this method provides a well-rounded approach to fitness, combining all of these, the strength, the flexibility, and the cardiovascular exercise for overall health and wellness. And 328 is easy to remember, right? It's easy to remember. And so let's talk about the strength training part of it a little bit. It says, things like squats and deadlifts. Don't worry about the deadlifts. Don't do those. Push-ups. You can do push-ups on your knees. You can do push-ups against the wall. You can push-ups against a counter. And rows, anything that strengthens your back muscles. So it improves your overall strength. We all know what Pilates helps with: flexibility, different kind of strength, and of course, core and walking. So it's just this balanced approach when you think about it. It's easy to remember, right? 328, got it. Because back in the day, and for those of you who don't know, this year I am celebrating 40 years in the fitness industry. I started in August of 1984. Yeah, I know some of you weren't born yet, but that's okay. I started off with high impact and low impact aerobics, y'all. That was me. I was the nerd who was in the front row and to the right or left of the instructor. Yeah, that was me. Because I wanted to do it the way I thought it was supposed to be done, just like the instructor. And so back in the day, women weren't really doing a whole lot of strength training, but I understood strength training only because of being in, running track and gymnastics and playing basketball, all of that. And I knew that strength training was important. So how do you do this 328 routine? You talk about strength, and you talked about some exercises. So divide your strength training days into different targeted muscle groups. One day you do upper body. So let's say you do chest and triceps. And then another day you do back and biceps. And then another day you do lower body, the thighs, front of the thighs, back of the thighs, and full body. Sound easy? It should be. Now, if you don't know what to do, that's when, you can reach out to me. We can talk about it. But Pilates, yoga, stretching, of course, you can do on your own. But if you go to a studio or you do an online Pilates or yoga class, it's perfectly acceptable. Do that on another day. Daily steps, incorporating walking into your daily routine by taking walk breaks. If you're an entrepreneur, how long do you sit versus how long you are actually moving? That's a whole new study. Maybe do it for yourself. Walking to nearby places instead of driving or using a treadmill, or walking around your apartment or walking around your house. I have a client who lives in a fifth wheel. It's a trailer, but it's a very, very nice trailer. You've seen these, right? They almost look like houses in a small compartment. and she walks up and down her stairs, up and down her stairs. You do what you can do with what you've got. So always remember, and these are considerations, rest and recovery. Okay. So ensure you have the rest day. So maybe your 3-2-8 kind of looks a little different. Maybe you start with strength training, you take a day of rest, and you do Pilates or yoga or stretching on another day. You take a rest, and then, all of those days you can actually do your, count your steps, because that's what you're doing. At least I hope you are. What about your progression? Gradually increase the intensity of your workouts to continue challenging your body and seeing progress. What does that mean? Maybe it's holding a stretch longer. Maybe it's going from body weight training exercises and going to weights, starting off with 1 pound, 2 pound, 3 pound, 5 pound. That's progression. Maybe going from push-ups on your knees to full body push-ups, right? Those are some cool ways that you can incorporate this 3-2-8 method. So remember, the 3-2-8 method is just another way. It's another thing. And that's what I love about this Why Not Wellness, is because I want to give you different hacks into your fitness routine. Because maybe there's something that I've said that you go, oh, that sounds good. Maybe you can't do the 3-2-8, but you could definitely do the 8. So maybe you start with counting your steps. And then once you've started doing that, because when you see your progression, and what do I mean by progression? Let's talk about that for a second. So when you talk about progression, a lot of times you don't know if you're making progress. Maybe a little bit, maybe you do. But you know who does know that you're making progress? People around you, people who see you every day. So one of the best compliments you can ever get is from another woman. A woman who says, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Because you look different. Are you losing weight? What are you doing? That's when you know you're making that progress. Sometimes it's hard for us to see it in ourselves. But when other people start noticing, when your clothes start fitting you differently, that's progression. And it may not show up every day. And some days you are going to not be in the mood to work out. And let me stop the clock there for just a second. We all know there are days when we're tired, right? I'm tired. But you don't know if you're physically tired or mentally tired. Now, if you didn't get enough sleep or you have a lack of sleep, then you're probably mentally and physically tired and you just need to stop and get some rest. I'm just going to put it out there. But a lot of times you can't tell the difference between mental fatigue and physical fatigue. So here's my hack for that. I do what's called the 10-minute test. If you cannot lift light weights, if you cannot walk, if you cannot stretch for 10 minutes, because all you can think about is stopping and going to bed, then stop and go to bed. It's as simple as that. Your body speaks to you all the time. You just have to listen. I can tell you that 98% of the time, when I've done this, when I've put this in motion for myself, after about 5 minutes, I start feeling better. Why? Because exercise is not just for your body, it's also for this. Clears the cobwebs. You start to feel energized. You start to be creative because you can. Just keep that in mind. Another little hack. I told you, I'm old, y'all. I've been doing this for a while. Okay, I'm not old. I've been around for a long time. Sorry, Yvonne. There was a little ageist there. But always get better. Always try to do better for you. And that's why I wanted to do the Why Not Wellness, because it's a question. Why not wellness? And we've got excuses. We probably have more excuses than we have anything else. But 11 minutes, y'all, or the 3-2-8 method, or the 10-minute test. There's lots of ways to do this. And the way it looks for you is different than the way it looks for me or anyone else. But no one can tell you how to go about this. No one can tell you what's the best thing for you except for you. So incorporating this 3-2-8 method into your routine, you can improve your strength, your flexibility, your cardiovascular health, and your overall fitness. So with that said, I hope this made some sense. If you have questions, please reach out to me, Kat at smallspacepilates.com. Let's chat about it. Let's chat about, how this looks for you. I love trying to answer questions. And I will also say that I don't know everything and I don't claim to know everything, but I will find the answer to your question. So this is Kat Corchado, your movement specialist, signing off until next time. Hopefully next week I'll have another guest. If not, it's going to be me again, y'all. I'm just saying. So until then, stay safe, take care of each other, and get moving. All right.